Hello, fellas. This is the King's Podcast, a minute where we take time to try to encourage each other. I'm going to put some stuff forward, to try to encourage us all to be the best men we can be for the kingdom and for our wives and our offspring and for all who know us. I think the first thing that we talk about is Elkanah and his two wives, not one, but two. First off, that's a problem. There's a problem with that. When God, in the beginning, God created Adam, put him to sleep, and took one woman from his side, not two, one. That's the first problem. Peninnah had children, Hannah had none. So I can just see in the problem developing here when Abraham would try to encourage Hannah because she was sad, wouldn't join them with family functions, and just depressed most of the time. So he'd say little catchy sayings like, Hannah, I love you, Hannah, you can do it, girl, go for it, Hannah. Fact remains he had two wives. He couldn't dedicate the proper attention to either woman because his emotions were divided, his loyalties were divided. Anyway, Peninnah had children, Peninnah, and Hannah had none. And Peninnah took to teasing Hannah mercilessly because she could have no children. The Bible says that God closed her womb. We all know that God allows certain things, but he never caused a woman to be barren. Or perhaps in another train of thought he could have because of the results. This caused Hannah to cry out to God, to seek God, as other people weren't doing at the time. Certainly Peninnah, who had children all around her knees and such. So anyway, Peninnah would tease Hannah mercilessly because she could have no children. Hannah was sad most of the time. Perhaps it went something like this. Abraham would, I think, encourage Hannah and talk to her, tried to talk her into feeling better. But while he was doing that, he neglected to realize that he had two wives. He still had to give proper attention to his other wife, which he wasn't supposed to have in the first place. This is one of the problems, the major problem with this scenario, with this historical Bible fact. We ought to have one wife and give all our attention to that one wife. Anyway, Peninnah would tease her mercilessly, and I think it went something like this. Like I said before, Abraham would encourage Hannah, encourage her, and give her little encouraging sayings. But here was Peninnah, whom Abraham thought needed no encouragement, because surely Peninnah needs no encouragement because she has all of these children. There's a difference between having children and receiving the proper attention from your spouse. It makes for a joyous house. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, so we see that God blessed Hannah later on. I believe that was a direct result of her seeking God, crying out to God. Sometimes God allows sadness in our lives simply because it causes us to really seek Him. Otherwise, if everything's going on the up and up and everything's going to the right, as we used to say, there's really very, very little necessity of, sad to say, seeking God. I'm trying to train myself to seek God regardless of how it's going with the outward external circumstances. Therefore, it's a form of preparation. That word prepare, it means to cut in advance, much like a seamstress cutting a cloth, a little piece of cloth in advance of placing it in a great tapestry or perhaps on a blanket. So let us all remember that while building up one person in our home, whether it be our wife or our children, let's remember that you have others watching, others who may need just, even though they may not appear to need the proper or the attention that we're giving this one that's downtrodden. People show emotions in different ways. That person will soon develop an attitude that mom or dad doesn't love me because they're not paying any attention to me and they're paying attention to my sister or brother. This will cause adversarial relationship to develop between those two children or that wife, that child, that wife, And I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. But always remember, pay the proper attention to every relationship in your home without neglecting the other. I think if we do that, fellas, I think we can do the right thing with our families and help to build everyone up in the family, not just one. Let's make it happen, gentlemen. Thanks. Have a pleasant day.